Our spine is the foundation of our health. I have learned this over and over from Dr. Renee Hahn, who is one of the speakers at the I Am the Solution Natural Health Summit on November 1st. We're going to be focusing on cancer and autoimmune disease. And it sounds like I've got something brewing here. Okay, let me start. Start. Okay, I'm still going. Okay. Our spine is the foundation of our health. And I am quoting Dr. Renee Hahn, who has been my chiropractor since 2014. She is different than other chiropractors, but not different than some. And when I say that is that she focuses on the upper cervical region. And the philosophy is if your C1 is in alignment, everything is good in your life. But she's going to talk about that and even more in a little bit. But I just want to let you know that she is one of our speakers at the I Am the Solution Natural Health Summit for Cancer and Autoimmune Dys-Ease. And amazing that most chiropractors, most doctors wouldn't even think about, maybe tying up the two. But when I tell you I have learned so much from Dr. Renee Hahn, I am not even tapping into the surface. She has been a great teacher for me. And, you would think that the spine would have nothing to do with health, but it does. It has everything to do with health. So today we've got Dr. Renee Hahn in the classroom, and we're going to learn and grow with her. So get your paper, get your pen, because we're going to learn how if you align your cervical spine, then the health will be transformed in your life. So let's get ready to learn and grow together.
And when you need a friend, you can count on me. I'll be right here waiting for you.
Hi, my name is Lily McDermott, and I'm a certified life coach, a certified holistic cancer coach, and the host of the Lillian McDermott radio show Classroom. If this is the first time that you've turned into the classroom, please know I've been waiting for you. This is a safe place where you can go when you need a friend. It is my commitment to provide natural ways to heal, and it is my mission to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my listening, as well as my viewing friend, will feel empowered to embrace a new truth and live the life of your dreams. Well, today is a special day and one that I always look forward to, and whenever Dr. Renee Hahn is in the classroom. And this is our second time, and I'm just so excited. It's like Christmas morning, because when we think of our spine, we only even think about it when it's gone bad, when your back blows or something like that. Outside of that, we take our spine for granted. No more. And so today we're going to learn with Dr. Renee Hahn why it is so important that we embrace our spine, embrace our health, so that we can achieve the life that we want. And since it is our sole purpose and to give and receive love and knowledge, I am grateful that Dr. Renee Hahn is here to do just that. Welcome. Did I ramble on too much?
Not at all.
Did I say the stuff for upper cervical that's different than regular, so let's talk a little bit about you, because you are a chiropractor. You're a
Mhm.
DC, Doctor of Chiropractic, but
Yes.
you took a different position. You took a different perspective than what most people are thinking is traditional chiropractic. But I learned from you that ain't so, that this was the original. So let's talk a little bit about you, what led you to upper cervical chiropractic as opposed to, I guess, total spine chiropractic. How would you refer to that?
So thank you, Lily, for having me on your show. Really
Sure.
appreciate it. Always love being here.
Yeah.
Love sharing and conversing with you for sure. So it was my own personal testimony that got me to upper cervical care. And when you deal with the upper cervical spine, you're actually dealing with the whole spine. So it's not like you're just focusing on one area of the spine and ignoring the rest. It just so happens my second month of starting chiropractic school, I was in what I would call a minor car accident, but it was one of a list of car accidents that I had throughout my life. So this one actually kind of took my health down without me even realizing that what was going to happen. So over the course of 2 years, while I was in chiropractic school, my health started getting worse and worse and worse. Traditional chiropractic, the regular crack pop, twist the spine kind of thing, which I had done my whole life. It's the way we stayed healthy in our family. From the age of 2, I'd been going to a chiropractor. But traditional was now making me worse. So anytime they would adjust my neck, I would get worse. So finally, chiropractors, they just said, we need to stop adjusting your spine because it was not doing anything as far as forwarding my health. I kept hearing this gentleman, Dr. Vern Hagen, who is gone now, but transformed my life. He kept talking, would show up at different events, and he would talk about this upper cervical care and this sound wave instrument that he used. And you did not feel the correction, but it was specific based on 3-dimensional digital x-ray, and the results were phenomenal. So I was very skeptic, didn't go for 2 years. It took 2 years for me to get there. But once I did, and I went under the care, and you literally do not feel the correction. It's done with sound. It's done on one side of the neck or the other, right at the top. But once I did that, the upper cervical sound wave adjustment, it was amazing, the difference. Within a short amount of time, I had my arms and hands back, which were failing. I was losing function, couldn't hold a coffee cup, couldn't carry my daughter, couldn't carry groceries. But what really impressed me was the low back and left hip pain that I had for 20 years that I went to chiropractors pretty frequently for. Now that I've been under upper cervical care for years now, I haven't had that pain since 2009. So I no longer get the left hip and low back pain that I used to get frequently. And because of an accident, I thought that I would just live with it for forever. But now that has healed through. So when you work with the upper cervical region, you can literally get things to heal through in the body.
You know, it's amazing. You have trained me to know, for the most part, because I'm pretty stubborn sometimes, that I know pretty much when my C1 is out of alignment. There's misalignment. And when I go to you, sometimes I'm spot on. Sometimes you say, no, this is something else. So not all, you don't always do the frequency of the C1 where you lay on this incredible table and do the sound. Sometimes you do work on other parts, and it's amazing. It's almost like you read Braille on my ribs or on my back, and you rub my knee, you put your hands over me, you're touching me, and you could feel a cartilage that might be popped out of place. You might, how do you do that? Was that something that you were taught? Is this something that all chiropractors across the board, whether it's upper cervical or the other practice that, is that normal, or is that you have those powers, superpowers?
Yeah, no, I'm the only one. No, I'm just kidding. No, so in chiropractic school, we are taught, like, our hands are our instrument. They should actually be insured, like Liberace, to be honest with you. But so once you get the upper cervical in place and starting to hold, then you can work with other areas of the spine and make more headway with the spine, because you've got C1 and C2 first, which then affects all the nerves in the spine, which then, of course, affects the muscles, ligaments, tendons, and everything that's connecting it all together. So what you're talking about is that's when I move to the activator stage, where I'm using the activator instrument as a subsequent tool to address the rest of the spine where things might still get hung up, so to speak. Many, many things will go away with just the upper cervical. And I think if we lived in a world where we weren't inundated by so many negative impacts to our health that our body shouldn't be, like pesticides, different things, stressors, things like that, the upper cervical has a huge impact. But that's why sometimes we need to address other things also, because we're being inundated with so many things. Also, extremities, ribs, all of those things can become an issue, but you can more effectively move them and get them to stay in place if you get C1 and C2 first.
You know, interesting. I still have this image of you. I remember I went into your office for an alignment and I said something to you about autoimmune conditions or I don't know if it was about a condition.
Mhm.
And you said, "Excuse me." You left and you brought your little buddy,
I
the
did.
spy,
I remember that. I did.
and you sat there and said, "Tell me, look at all these nerves, look at all this. Tell me how this is not affecting every aspect of your life." So let's talk about how the spine, because again, I thought that when we've done the I Am the Solution Natural Health Summit, we pretty much were focusing on prevention. I don't know if you remember last year, while I'm giving my talk, I am having a dialogue in my head as to I'm preaching to the choir.
Mhm.
People don't really care about prevention. So I declared that day, uh, that we were going to be making this about cancer and autoimmune disease because we really need the people to come in and hear that you don't have to take the pill for the rest of your life, that
Mhm.
that pain doesn't have to be surgically fixed. There's so many different things. And here we are, November 1st is right around the corner. It is October 15th, right today, and we are, sharing this information. So let's talk about how, when I said, do you want to do this because we're going to be focusing on cancer and autoimmune condition? You said, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So let's talk about absolutely and
Mhm.
why. Let's talk about autoimmune first because most people don't understand that that's kind of like the gateway, to cancer. Of course, cancer can happen at any time, but this is kind of like, okay, if you think it's just an autoimmune condition, think again. So let's talk about how the spine can affect. And do you have your little friend, the spine, with you?
I do have a little friend back here.
It
If
was
I
so
need
funny.
to
You're
pull him
like,
out, I will.
okay, so let's talk about that.
Okay. So I'm going to go back to uh, literally almost day one for all of us, and that's in the womb.
Mhm.
We're going to go back to the womb. Okay. So within the first 6 days of conception in the womb, there's what's called the neural streak. It's the first thing that forms. The neural streak becomes the brain and the spinal cord. That's day 6. Day 18 to 22 is the heart. Every organ in your body, every muscle, tissue, ligament, tendon, nerve, everything that's in your body is grown from the spine. Literally everything. So it has a huge impact on what you can do with healing in the body if you work with the spine. In fact, Hippocrates, which medical doctors take a Hippocratic oath, right? Hippocrates was all about aligning the spine for health. That's what he preached on, literally. Um, but so if you look at the spine for health rather than just for back pain or neck pain, that type of thing, because when you put it into a musculoskeletal box, you're really taking away how much function the spine has and control that the spine does for our whole body. I'm going to use Superman, Christopher Reeves, as an example really quick. Horrible what happened to him, but his injury when he fell off that horse was right here at the top. He broke the odontoid process off of C2, which is this knob that sticks up like this, and then C1 wraps around it. He broke this, okay? Severing over 90% of the nerves right at that area. What happened to him? He lost full body function, including breathing. So that's if you sever that area. Let's talk about just misaligning that area. If you misalign it, it can affect anywhere in the body, literally anywhere. So even someone with irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, which really what I would like the medical doctors to do is say, why are your bowels mad? Not just say they're mad. You know what I mean? But I have a woman that comes in, she had an IBS diagnosis for 40 years. When upper cervical is in alignment, she has no IBS symptoms. Autoimmune. If your body is to the point where it's attacking itself, you had a problem a long time ago. Our bodies do not attack themselves. Our bodies are being affected by either nervous system obstacles, because if your nervous system can't function properly, the control panel to your house is off. So if your nervous system isn't functioning properly, that's going to affect your immune system. Then inundate our bodies with all of the Roundup, fertilizers, pesticides, medications, vaccines, all the food dyes, all the things that we're being inundated with outside here in our country. Add that to the body, then the body at some point is going to get mad, and that's when it attacks itself. But our bodies are not made to attack itself. Our bodies are made to reach homeostasis and a state of wellness at all times. But that depends on what we're putting into it also. And if we're allowing it to be the amazing machine that it is.
It is an amazing machine. And I love how you take us through the 6th day of, when you're in vitro and in utero, and you are, a spine and a brain, and then the heart comes. And then we wonder why we get, gut feelings and we get heartache and all these different terminologies that we've just kind of like taken for granted. We don't even know why we say these things. And it's because everything is connected. And what we don't get, and what I talk about in the classroom and also at the I Am the Solution Natural Health Summit for Cancer and Autoimmune Disease, is that when our body is out of alignment with what we know, then that's when dis-ease happens. We're out of alignment. That brain, that gut, that heart is out of alignment. And so but most people don't pay attention to it. Like I'll say, you know, uh, go get chiropractic care. Great, they'll go get chiropractic care. What would you say of someone that gets chiropractic care but doesn't want to release some traumas? That doesn't want to, how is the spine holding on to past traumas, lack of forgiveness, maybe anger? Does it hold on in the spine?
Absolutely. Interesting enough. So sometimes when we align the upper cervical spine, afterwards we have our patients rest for about 15, 20 minutes. So I'll come back in the room and I've had people crying. I've had grown men crying on the table, laughing, not as frequently, mostly crying, but they are literally releasing emotion. I had one patient come back and she's like, I don't know what you do to me, but shut it off because I've been crying for a week. I said, no, you want to let all that out because you are releasing emotions.
Yeah.
So it can absolutely get tied up in the spine. It can get tied up anywhere in the body.
Mm-hmm.
That's why when aligning the spine, you can actually, you'll see anxiety go away, depression go away, different things, because you can actually release those emotions finally, where it's not just being tied up. If you're out of alignment, you can also be in a state of what's fight or flight. So you all the time feel like you're about ready to like just lose your cool or go into defense mode all the time. You just feel like so agitated. Get your upper cervical put back in alignment. That will start to go away.
Very good. And that is like I'll do this alignment thing, but I don't want to do the emotional thing. But it's nice to know that you could kind of affect both without
It goes
even
hand in
trying.
hand. Like you can't do one without the other. I mean, when they come in as a new patient, I don't necessarily tell them, oh, this might unlock all your emotions. No, that's an added bonus. You know what I mean? And it does whether they know it or not. Because emotions, we're all one whole being. I think that's why I get a little disgruntled with our healthcare system, because they piece us out like we're in parts. No, we're whole, we're one whole being, and you have to treat us as such. But that upper cervical piece and just working with the C1, C2 is huge. And it has been around for years. That's how BJ Palmer started the whole process, or the whole thought process of chiropractic, was focusing on the upper cervical first. And it
Yes.
does. You were exactly right earlier, Lily, when you said dis-ease of the body. That was how BJ Palmer always talked about dis-ease of the body. It's a dis-ease. It's
Hmm.
not like something that you caught. It's a malfunction that if you realign the spine, turn back on the electricity, which is your nervous system, then things can start to heal. Our bodies are made to heal and be in a state of well-being.
I love that. The dis for us is the dysfunction, going from dysfunction to ease. And
Mhm.
that is, there have been many times where I've gone basically like not even able to walk, and you're so gentle with me. I don't know what you do, but I have a little bit more of a
I drink
spring in my
wine.
step. You what? What was that?
I drink wine.
There we go. There we go. Okay, so but when I go there, I am in pain because we're so busy. And you always say, come every other month, every 3 months or whatever. What is when you're aligned, when your spine is aligned properly, when your cervical spine is aligned properly and your entire body is aligned properly, how often should we come see you, for example?
So I have patients that come in at different times. Some patients will just come in when they have pain. I don't necessarily encourage that because
No?
if you're waiting till you get to the pain point, you already had a problem a long time ago because
Hmm.
pain is the last thing to show up unless it was some kind of an acute trauma or
Yeah.
something. Um, I would say once we get your upper cervical holding more stabilized, uh, most patients come in once a month, once every 2 to 3 months, something like that. We kind of just determine what the sweet spot is for each individual patient. Um, I would say my most common is once every 1 month to 2 months as far as coming in and getting aligned. I like to think of it like your car. Do you change the oil in your car? Do you change or check your alignment of the car? Of course you do. And you don't wait until the engine's blowing up or the wheels are falling off. You get it checked to make sure that you don't incur a problem, which is exactly how we should be thinking about our healthcare is and our health in general is how about we be proactive so that we don't have to put out the fire on the other end. We need to catch it before the fire starts.
So
So even if
that's great practical advice. However, in a real world, in the
mhm.
real world, it's like, okay, thank you for the reminder. I need to change my oil. It's like,
Right, right, right.
you know, thank you for the reminder because we get stuck in our life and we get stuck in traffic, we get stuck at jobs, we get stuck in marriage, we stuck with our kids. It's almost as if we're there are times like for me, I like to go with the flow. But sometimes there is a disruption of that flow. Some people live in the disruption.
Mhm.
So at what point do you feel like somebody, if they continue on with the disruption, how quickly could you see the body going from functional to dysfunction?
That greatly varies. I mean, it can be overnight for some people, I would say, but usually it takes time for the body to decline. But it just depends what they've been exposed to or what trauma they had or what stress they had in their life. Am I answering this well?
Yeah,
Did I catch?
I think you are. And what I'm saying is, at what point do you say to your patient,
Mhm.
we've done alignment, perhaps they're not getting better. At what point do you add other modalities? Do you have, because I know that you have other services in your practice. At
We
what
do.
point do you add coaching? At what point do you add nutrition? At what point, how do you discern that, Dr. Renee?
So if we see that they're not moving forward with their care, we'll kind of figure out, so is it a matter of them not holding? Why are they not holding? If they are holding and we don't see them getting better in other ways, sometimes it might be an inflammatory issue. So we'll use laser. We have laser available, which is amazing light therapy,
Mhm,
natural, and it's a great modality to add to the upper cervical to
mhm,
help people that have acute or chronic trauma going on. Also, foot detox. We're all inundated with toxins throughout the day, every day, to be honest with you. So, foot detox is another thing that we offer. Also, we have stretching, rehab, exercises, that type of thing. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and tell everyone that we're about ready to launch an app that we're going to introduce to our patients in order to be able to support them outside of the office so that they have tools that they can use to help their health stay well when they're not coming into the office in between.
very good.
But I always tell patients, try this first. Even if you feel like you're getting sick with the flu, cold, whatever, come in. if you're out of, when you're starting to get sick, usually your body will be out of alignment. Then you get aligned and it will not manifest. I've watched this my daughter's whole childhood. When she would start to get sick, we take her in, align her, get the alignment, and it would not manifest.
Wow. How
So
can you
it's the
bottle
biggest
that
booster
up?
immune system.
How can you bottle that up and sell it out there? Like, hey, if your little kid's getting sick, come on in. Most people just, they're not even aware. They just think this is a part of life that you get sick.
And you have to remember, it doesn't take a medication to get you well. It just takes supporting the body so that the body can get well on its own. If it gets well on its own, then your body will be stronger for it and you'll be more immune to whatever you caught. Medications, no matter what you take, medications, and sometimes, yes, they are necessary, but not near what Americans are taking. Excuse me. But if you take a medication, there's always a side effect that goes with it. Always, no matter what.
Yeah. That's something I didn't understand 15, 16 years ago. And now I see it firsthand. I see how frequency helps. So I love Avasia and I love all the natural processes that my body goes through so that I can stay as healthy as I possibly can. But again, sometimes we stay so focused in life and doing and doing and doing that we don't have time to stop for an alignment or time. But then when I will just say to you, just bending down and picking something up, all of a sudden, like, how did that happen? How did that, my back will blow. And this has been just recently, in the last year or so that this has been happening with me. And of course, Robert is taking me over to see you at times that this happens. But then if I really am honest with myself, I haven't stopped to take care of myself. What
Mm-hmm.
are other ways that we can take care of? You talked about stretching and all of that. What are other ways that we can love our upper cervical and spine?
Drinking water,
Yeah.
stay off your phone. Looking down at your phone is horrible. Horrible. This motion that America has going, where everyone's looking down at their phone, when you take the curve out of your spine, out of your neck, your cord can't function the way that it should. The spine forms a curve, or the vertebrae form a curve to allow the spinal cord to function inside. When everyone's looking down all the time, it takes the curve out, which now what happens to the cord? The cord cannot function or communicate the way that it should. That's why we're seeing a lot of different things come up in our kids, teenagers, young adults, that some older people, because they're on their phones all the time. Text neck is a true thing. So part of staying healthy is keeping your alignment, water, supplementation. Unfortunately, with what has happened to our food sources here in this country, it's very difficult to get the nutrition that you need out of our food source, even though we should be able to. It's very difficult. Supporting the joints with joint support formulas, those kind of things. But yes, stretching, exercise, movement. Move your body.
I love those advice. Now, you said something about the phone and looking down at the phone. And it is amazing to just look around. If we just were to stop and just look around, how many people are not present wherever they're at. So
Mhm.
whether I'm at the doctor's office. So what would be the proper position if I am wanting to text somebody? How do you do it? What do you do?
So I would have it, you need to have it higher up. You need to have it here
Okay.
so that you're not looking down at it all the time. I mean,
Okay.
every so often, of course, you're going to look down at it, but it's the constant scrolling of looking down. I'll watch patients in my waiting room and they're just the whole time looking down at their phone.
Yeah.
So you just need to get it up here. I saw somebody earlier today that had a phone case that has a stand on it.
Oh.
Brilliant.
So, I mean, I've seen that, but a stand, I mean, how long is that? How long is their stand?
Well, it would have to be in front of you for sure.
Oh,
And
okay.
the other thing, if you are going to be on your phone, because obviously many of society is, just do things to make sure that you're helping the proper curve come back. Stretching backwards, stretching, opening up, opening your arms, going back, stretching in the doorway. things like that, because
Okay.
everyone's so closed down in the front.
Yeah.
Well, most people need to be stretching back and open.
Well, let's talk about, because I do want to make a little switch here because I want to not only because it's October 15th today, I want to say happy birthday to Robert. It's his birthday today. And so I want to wish that he's my left hand. Without him, I could not do some of the things that I do today. So I just want to say thank you
Happy
to
birthday,
Robert.
Robert.
Happy birthday, Robert. And also I wanted to talk about the I Am the Solution Natural Health Summit. I wanted to make sure that all of you know that we're giving away 2 tickets to go to the I Am the Solution Natural Health Summit for Cancer and Autoimmune Dis-Ease. And so why I'm giving 2 away is I don't want people to feel that they can't afford it. So if you feel that financially, because you have all these medical bills, this is our way of helping get you there so that you can learn these new truths about health and wellness naturally, so that you can not just prevent, but you can reverse what's happening and lower the chance of recurrence, especially with cancer. A lot of people live with fear, and fear is a great way where people manipulate you. So at the I Am the Solution Natural Health Summit for Cancer and Autoimmune Disease, we want to empower you to be your own MD, your own medical detective. And so when I say that, I want to encourage you to check out the I Am the Solution webpage. You just go to whenyounneedafriend.com. While you're there, please subscribe to the channel, the website, and like and follow me on all social media. A way that you can help the classroom grow and overcome all the algorithms, because this information is not readily found. It's not easily found on social media, because what the pharmaceutical industry is the one that promotes the most and spends the most in advertising. So you're going to see more of that. So the way we go around it is that you get to share. We all get to share this class today with Dr. Renee Hahn of Upper Cervical Chiropractic and Epic Clinics. And so we are just really excited about the event. So a week from today, I will pick out 2 names. So you can text me at 407-373-5959, or you can email me at lily@whenyouneedafriend.com. We've opened a virtual component to this. We prefer that you come in, but we've opened up a virtual component, and this is for people. The 2 tickets is for the people coming in, not for the virtual. It's for people coming in because we want as many people, because not only do you get to meet doctors like Dr. Renee Hahn, but we have all our speakers, all our vendors, and we have all of you. I once I finish this part of the class, I want to check with Dr. Renee about the atmosphere that she feels when we are there together at the event. So remind me to get back to you on this one. Okay. So also check my Shop Now bag and support the classroom by getting Lilly approved products. Many of the vendors that are on my website are also going to be there. I'm really excited about that. And last but not least, you can become an enrolled student in the classroom, whether it's $1 or $1,000 a month or a one-time donation, whatever the case might be. It might be your time, your talent, your treasure. Like I said, sharing this video is a way for you to help the classroom grow. Now, today we have Dr. Renee Hahn, and she could be anywhere, but she chooses to be here today. She doesn't have to give these talks because she has a pretty busy practice, and now she has a new practitioner, a new doctor, and I'm looking forward to meeting her at the conference. And maybe if she's around, she could pop her head in and say hello. But let's talk about how people can get a hold of you. Epic Clinics, right? Epic Clinics.
At the
And it's
clinics.com.
epicclinic.com, and you /locations/Melbourne. That's the one you want to go to. Also, the phone number is 321-622-4447. And you know I love those fours. So it's 4447. 321-622-4447. So, like I said, the event. We've
Yes.
done this. This will be our third year doing this together. I can't imagine doing this without you. Let's talk about the feeling of the people that are there when they're learning and growing, and these are like-minded people. Everybody is loved where they're at. So how was that feeling for you? What was that like for you?
So I think the key word that you said for me there is like-minded.
Mhm.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. It's so refreshing to be in at an event where everyone is talking about how to be healthier, how to live a fuller life, how to stay healthy, and we're all on this mission and path of trying to find out all the good things in order to get there. And it's not a destination, it's a journey. Our life is a journey. So health is not a destination, it's a journey. So you have to look at that way. But the whole feeling of the event is just all about what can we do to stay healthy. Everyone is sharing stories, testimonies, different modalities of healing and so forth. It's just a day of, like you said, like-minded people coming together and just a breath of fresh air of
Yeah.
knowing that there's alternatives to healing besides the sick care that we look at,
Well,
basically.
I know you and I have shared conversations about not being able to speak up in certain circles and wanting to help so much to just say, listen, if you're curious, I can share some stuff. You don't have to buy into it, but if you're curious instead of critical, just look into it. Just look into what is being said. But so many people take their belief system as truth. Just because you believe it doesn't mean it's true. And so many times we find ourselves in a situation where we really want to help somebody we love, but we can't because they're not open to it. How is it that when, I mean, not a lot of people have I mean, I know your practice is very busy, but when people think of chiropractic care, they think of the chiropractic care we've grown accustomed to, the popping, the twisting, and the all that stuff. But with you, I remember one time, and this is when I had implants. I had my implants removed many years ago,
You
and
did.
I remember having an adjustment with one of the doctors that did the traditional cracking, popping, twisting, and all that, doing the neck thing and doing all that stuff. And I remember feeling a pop. I felt a pop. And I didn't know if that was my implant, if that was a rib cage, or I didn't even think of anything other than that. And I remember after that experience, I started coming to you. I started coming to you. And I remember when I made that decision to remove my implants, you came to me. You didn't say it beforehand. You said it afterwards. You say, I'm so proud of you. I'm
I
so
did.
proud of you.
I did.
Because let's talk about some of these things that we do to ourselves that contribute to misalignment, contribute to our health failure, and go from there. Let's see where it takes us.
So yeah, the day that you told me you were having your implants removed, like that was huge because I always saw you as a healthy person, and always striving towards health, and I knew what your mission was. And I'm like, but we're missing this piece here because you put something in your body that was foreign that your body at some point was going to start to reject it.
Mhm.
And you were actually the catalyst for three more women to get their breast implants removed in my clinic because
Really?
of how well you did after you got them removed. So I have to say, like, that is huge. Yeah, by not breast implants, putting medications in the body, toxins that we're putting in the body, foods that we shouldn't be eating. I had somewhere I was going before that, and it totally just went out there.
That's
But yeah, there's just so many things that we do that can go against our health that if we would just take the time to make sure that we're staying healthy. I know that I'm kind of repeating myself, but if you don't have your health, you don't have anything.
that's
I
it.
think, excuse me, I'm so sorry. Years ago, I got pretty sick to where I couldn't really function. That was a very humbling experience,
Hmm.
but I did end up having to use the medical world and the natural world together. But what I realized after I started going down this plight of illness, I realized you weren't taking care of yourself. You weren't taking care of number one so that I could take care of other people. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of your husband. You can't take care of your children. You can't take care of your life. So your health is so important. When you don't have it, that's when you'll realize how important it is. And it's unfortunate that in this country, we kind of do go by the sick care model. We wait till we're sick. But I'm telling you, if you will take the time to keep yourself healthy beforehand, it's amazing how healthy you can stay.
It really is. And you know, it's sad in many ways that we do things to ourselves unknowingly. Maybe because we want to, maybe our mindset was different a long time ago. Like when I did the explantation, not only did I do the explantation, but I also chronicled it and I have it on my YouTube channel. So for any of you who feel that you have breast implant illness, or maybe you out, like I said, my implants had a good run. They had a good run and it was time. It was time for me. And when it was my time to make the decision, I decided that if I have to remove my implants and put new implants in, and this was as a result of a car accident as well,
Hmm.
which started, and I remember sitting on the floor just crying about this decision, you know, asking God to help me make this decision and feeling like I would be like less of a person. And I remember it was my husband who said to me, like, you're not having a mastectomy. You're having implants removed and you're going to be beautiful no matter what. And when he said that to me, it kind of like, whoa, what was I thinking? You know, sometimes we get stuck in the action of what could go wrong and how could things like will I be accepted or whatever. But what I learned is that my alignments last longer, don't they?
Hmm. Absolutely. Other toxins that you can do with that, where I now remember where I was headed, tattoos.
Mhm.
Tattoos are a huge toxin. I probably just maybe ticked off a half of the community out there. But
But you know,
tattoos,
we just need
also
to be
Botox.
aware of it. We just
Ladies.
the
We
what?
should not be putting Botox in our faces. That is a toxin. It's botulism. So there are things that we as women and people in general are doing that are being sold as good for us or healthcare, or that it's going to make us look better, all of these things, but really it's affecting our health. So sometimes I'll see women get Botox and they actually look worse after.
Mhm.
Like you looked better before, you
Mhm.
know? So there are definite things that we're doing that we shouldn't be doing that are affecting our bodies. And I guess my sister and I kind of had because I still color my hair. So there's
Mhm.
that, right? But my sister gets tattoos and she's 4 years younger and she stopped coloring her hair. So she said something to me about it. And I'm like, well, I guess we have to choose our poison then, right? I mean, I do use a more natural color and so forth for the hair. But I'm just saying, we have to make choices in life, but make the best choices that you can.
Yeah.
If you're going to get a tattoo, don't color it. Use organic ink, different things like that. So just
Or
make the
pigment.
best choices.
Pigment is different than ink.
You
So
got it.
there's organic pigments that are, and I'm hoping that a friend of mine will be able to come to the event because she actually uses organic pigment to paint the areola for women who have had mastectomies.
Oh, wow.
So she does a lot. It's just it doesn't have to be a vein or vanity or whatever. And this is a no judgment. We're not saying that if you have a
Exactly.
tattoo, something's wrong with you or anything like that. We all do things to make us feel good. And
Hmm.
so, and I'm all for that. I'm all for whatever people want to do, but us understand that whenever we choose to do something that could cause um, move us closer to disease versus natural good health, we have to do other things to kind of help it. Like when I say, if you're drinking water and you also drink coffee and you also drink alcohol, for every cup of coffee, for every alcohol you have, you need to have two or three extra cups of water, right? So we need to
Exactly.
kind of balance those things. So if somebody chooses to do tattoos or, whatever it is, implants, just know that there's going to be a compromise to immune system. So what else compromises our immune system that will then compromise our spine, or compromise our spine and then compromise our immune system? Which comes first?
Oh, that's a big question. Which comes first?
And don't say chicken.
I know. I was about ready to. I always go back to alignment. I have to say, I am the upper cervical chiropractor, so I go. Alignment is huge. It's just if your nervous system isn't functioning properly, then your body is functioning at a substandard level. If you have one of the, I'm going to sound old school if I call it a fuse, I've been told, but if one of the fuses in your control panel of your house is not functioning properly, or the breaker's been tripped, right? It can't function. So the nervous system, for me, the nervous system's the key.
So the spine
Without the
first.
electricity being on properly,
So the
nothing
spine
else can
first.
function the way to that at optimal level.
Got it. Okay. So what I'm hearing you say is the spine first. It's
Fine
that's
for
so if we go to an upper cervical chiropractor 2 to 3 months to maintain our health, have you seen anybody get sick after that? I mean, can that still happen? Because there's other things that we can do to kind of hurt ourselves.
Of course, they can still get sick, because we're inundated with different things that can take down our immune system in other ways, all
Mhm.
the toxins and so forth, like we talked about before. But you have a much, much, much less chance of getting sick if your nervous system's in alignment, for sure.
Very good. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the people that have come to you barely walking, some of the things that you've done, not just only upper cervical alignment, but maybe health, nutrition. What are some of the things? Because our health is like a puzzle. It is a puzzle. And
It is.
sometimes we don't have the image of the puzzle, and we do have some missing pieces. And so, with that in mind, can you think of people or someone in particular that just jumps out when you tell the story, that you're just so grateful that you stuck with the upper cervical chiropractic because let's tell the story about this one person, how you were able to help them.
Oh, wow. Um, there's so many testimonies that come out of the office. So it's hard to choose just one, to be honest with you. Okay, a young kid that had a football injury, 13 years old, caused dizziness, headaches, neck pain. They went to some of the top doctors over the process of about a year with no help. Young man was still dizzy, still had the horrible headaches. Came in, got upper cervical alignment. On his next visit back, all of it was gone. All of it was gone. So that
Amazing.
that
One visit?
one visit,
Wow.
one visit.
Wow. And do you think it's because he was younger that that's true? Like the younger we are, the less damage we have in our body, and the quicker and more open we are to these modalities, this.
So you would think so, and it does play a part into it for sure. But I'm still amazed on a weekly basis on how many older people that we have come in. And I always tell them, I never know who's going to heal the quickest. And then they'll come back and they're like, everything's gone. All my symptoms are gone. But I never know who's going to have a health journey. And it's all a journey because they're all going through what we call retracing, where the body is going through a healing process. It's just the question is, are they still feeling their symptoms? Some people's symptoms will alleviate immediately. Others, it takes a little bit longer. And like I said, I never know who's who. I do expect the kids to heal quicker, though, for sure, because of them being younger.
Well, let's go a little further. Let's dive a little deeper because I always, whenever I'm coaching someone, I could tell who really wants to heal and who wants to be a victim.
Hmm.
Have you ever had someone who comes into your office that doesn't really want to heal because of, there's payoffs and prices to someone getting better? Has that
Yes.
ever happened where you've seen that in your practice?
Yes, absolutely.
How do you deal with that?
And I actually was bold enough one time where I just looked at this person, and this person actually did want to get better. But I just looked at her and I said, "Do you want to be better? Do you actually want to be better?" And then that's when I got the signals. When I was blunt with her, that's when I got the signals. Oh, yeah, she absolutely does. But I also had another one that I clearly remember, and my mom used to work with me, and I know she would remember this one too, where if she got well, her identity would no longer be. Her whole adult life was going to doctors, medical doctors, and she was always chasing the next diagnosis. And it was always about getting a name for a diagnosis, because the diagnosis to me is just a name. It's a dysfunction, dis-ease of the body, right?
Mhm.
So if she got well, she would no longer have had an identity. Her whole life was identified by being sick, which is a very sad state to be in.
Yeah.
And I think she finally got to the point where, because she stopped coming after a period of time, but it was a good 2 years. It was a good 2 years. And I'll be honest with you, by the time that she left, I think that we were ready to part ways. And that was sad on my part because I
Yeah.
really wanted her to get better.
Yeah.
And you know what? You don't even have to believe in what we do. You do not have to believe in what we do to get better. I always tell people that tell me, I don't really believe in what you do. I'm like, it doesn't matter. I believe in enough for both of us. So it's a scientific thing. But you can hinder your own healing by wanting to stay sick.
And that's why I always say we sometimes just need to sit with our intention. What
Hmm.
is our intention? Because if our intention's out of alignment, I really do believe that our spine gets out of alignment,
Yeah.
that there's so many things that God mirrors back to us,
Hmm.
that and sometimes I just sit and go, why is it that I have a sty in my eye? What am I unwilling to look at? Why is it that I lost my voice? Where is it that in my life where I feel I can't speak my truth? Those are like questions that our body's constantly speaking to us.
Yes, I have a patient right now that she is being diagnosed with COPD. Well, I know a lot about her life because she's been coming to me for years for health. She's being shut down by her family and not being allowed to speak her truth or how she feels. So, guess what? Now her voice is going away. So, it absolutely affects our being. Everything around us affects our being. So, you just have to choose how we're going to allow it to affect it and what we're going to do with it.
Did I tell you that last year, was it last year, Dr. Thomas Levy talked about hydrogen peroxide,
Hmm.
and there was a woman in the audience that had COPD for 5 years. And this was COPD that was diagnosed, there were chemicals in her work, and there was other things that contributed to it. The day of the event, they started doing the hydrogen peroxide nebulization. And about 5 months or 6 months later, I ran into that person's friend that brought them there. And we were at a store and we kind of ran into each other. She goes, Lily, I am so glad. Oh, you've been on my mind. You've been on my mind. I want to tell you about my friend that was there, and she explained that she had uh, COPD for 5 years, and it was gone.
That's
It was
amazing.
gone. However, okay, I want to say that I don't have any evidence that she had it. I don't have any medical, and I even brought Dr. Levy into the classroom and he said, you know what? I'm not disagreeing that she didn't have it or that she did have it. But, sometimes people get misdiagnosed. And
Mhm.
it could be that she had it, but, that she got better from, maybe it was a mild case, but with all the medication that person was on, it could create other problems too. They got
Absolutely.
off their medication, they went to the doctor. The doctor said, huh, according to your MRI or whatever it was that they were reading, you no longer have COPD. You're in range for normal lungs.
That's amazing.
And I asked the person, did did you tell the doctor what you were doing? And they said, the doctor never asked. The doctor never asked.
No.
Sometimes we need to be our own MD. We need to be our own MD. And I am so grateful that you're bringing this awareness at the event and everything that you do. And you know, I have a high respect for you. Love coming into your office. Everybody is so super sweet. And now you have a new doctor. Can you share a little bit about Dr. Nofar?
So Dr. Nafar Nugent just joined us about a month ago. Super excited that she is here. She comes with training in the sound wave technique that we do, Epic. She actually got it onto the campus in the main clinic, which has never been done before as a student. Got it into the main clinic at the college that she was at. So that was a huge accomplishment. She also used to be a massage therapist. So she comes with a lot of knowledge about the body. She just became, and I'm so proud of her for doing this, she just became a U.S. citizen. She's from Israel. She's here, if you wouldn't mind letting her pop her head in the screen real
I
quick.
would love for her
Okay.
pop her head in the screen. As I'd mentioned it before. Hello, Dr. Nafar. How are you?
Hi.
How
I'm
are you?
good. How are you?
I saw your picture when I was looking at the Epic and doing the research. So welcome. I'm so looking
Thank
forward to
you.
hearing about you. I'm so excited that you're going to be joining us. What do you think will be the main thing that you could add to this clinic?
Oh, well, she has she has a lot of experience. I think new blood per se, and I am a very of a fighter. We have the very similar mindset, but I'm coming from actually a background of autoimmune disease that I healed with the sound wave. So I'm all about research and getting more research out there to expand to more people, more chiropractors, and to get not to the just 4% of the world, just the other 96 that are not under chiropractic care.
What is your testimony as far as upper cervical? Because she has a pretty cool testimony, Lily.
I lost my eyesight due to uveitis. I just got it one day. I considered myself healthy before, but I lived in New York, so I don't know how healthy you can be in New York. But I lost my eyesight, and then nothing helped. I was determined to get off all medications and injections. I was on 6 medications and 2 injections. And I tried chiropractic. It helped a little bit, but after one correction of the sound wave, my eyesight got back. And I started, like she said before, retracing. So right now, I am fully on, and I'm not on any medications anymore.
Awesome. Congratulations. I'm looking forward to hearing your story at the event at the I Am the Solution Natural Health Summit. I'm glad that you were able to peek in because I know you're really busy, and we're looking forward to learning more. Thank you so much, Dr. Renee and Dr. Nofar for coming on real quick. And I'm looking forward to seeing all of you. And so remember, we're going to be giving away 2 tickets. We're going to be going to the I Am the Solution Natural Health Summit for Cancer and Autoimmune Dys-Ease, and we look forward to seeing you there. So please remember, we'll be right here waiting for you worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. This is Lillian McDermott with Dr. Renee and Dr. Nofar, wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day ever. Good job. That's a good job. Okay.
The opinions and advice expressed on the Lillian McDermott radio show are intended for the individual callers and guests on the program and are presented to our wider audience solely for general educational purposes. Please act responsibly and consult personally with your own medical, psychological, or nutritional expert before taking any steps to improve your life.